Hello, students, and welcome to the class of Standard 10th. Today we're doing Chapter 2.5 Let's March, written by Kailash Satyarthi. Kailash Satyarthi was born on 11th January 1954. He was born in Vidisha, a small town in Madhya Pradesh. His father was a retired police head constable, and his mother was an uneducated housemaker with high morals. The idealistic and helpful nature of his mother had a big impact on Satyarthi's life. Now, let us know the works of Kailash Satyarthi. Mr. Satyarthi joined his college as a lecturer for few years. Later in 1980, he gave up his career as an electrical engineer and then founded the Bachpan Bachao Andolan, or Save Childhood movement. In 1998, he conceived and led the global march against child labor by traveling across 103 countries, covering 80,000 kilometers to demand an international law on worst forms of child labor. He has acted to protect the rights of more than 83,000 children across 144 countries. These pictures show us his dedication towards the welfare of deprived children. We can see how he worked selflessly with the help of slogans and different movements. Awards and honors. Kailash Satyarthi has been awarded with around 26 honors till date, and the most notable one is the Nobel Peace Prize of 2014 for the struggle against the suppression of children and young people and for the right of all children to education. These are some of the books written by Kailash Satyarthi. He wrote in different languages. Point to note: the Nobel Peace Prize of 2014 was awarded jointly to Kailash Satyarthi and Malala Yousafzai for their struggle against the suppression of children and young people and for the right of all children to education. The setting of the lesson. As mentioned earlier, Mr. Satyarthi was honored with Nobel Peace Prize. This lesson is his speech that he had addressed on the eve of Nobel Prize distribution ceremony on 10th October 2014. The audience that he addressed consisted of the royal dignitaries and prestigious people from all over the world. These pictures will give you a glimpse of the award ceremony. Kailash Satyarthi worked for the betterment of children, and so let us quickly have a look at the term child labor. The term child labor is often defined as work that deprives children of their childhood, their potential, and their dignity, and that is harmful to physical and mental development of the children. It refers to the work that is mentally, physically, socially, or morally dangerous and harmful to children. It interferes with a child's ability to attend and participate in school fully by obliging them to leave school prematurely. There are many interlinked factors contributing to the prevalence of child labor. Child labor is both a cause and consequence of poverty. Household poverty forces children into the labor market to earn money. Some perform child labor to supplement family income, while many also are in it for survival. They miss out an opportunity to gain an education, further perpetuating household poverty across generations, slowing the economic growth and social development. Child labor impedes children from gaining the skills and education they need to have opportunities of decent work as an adult. Inequality, lack of educational opportunities, slow demographic transition, traditions and cultural expectations all contribute to the persistence of child labor in India. The ILO experience is that stable economic growth, respect for labor standards, decent work, universal education, social protection, recognizing the needs and rights of the children, together help tackle the root cause of child labor. Now let us begin the lesson. Page number 78. My dear children of the world, your majesties, your royal highnesses, excellences, distinguished members of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, dear brother Tom Harkin, brothers and sisters, and my dear daughter Malala. From this podium of peace and humanity, I am deeply honored to recite a mantra from the ancient texts of wisdom, Vedas. This mantra carries a prayer, an aspiration, and a resolve that has the potential to liberate humanity from all man made crises. Let's walk together in the pursuit of global progress. Not a single person should be left out or left behind in any corner of the world, from east to west, from south to north. Let's speak together. Let our minds come together. Learning from the experiences of our ancestors, let us together create knowledge for all that benefits all. I bow to my late parents, to my motherland India, and to the Mother Earth. With a warm heart, I recall how thousands of times I have been liberated. Each time I have freed a child from slavery. In the first smile of freedom on their beautiful faces, I see the gods smiling. Kailash Satyarthi begins his speech by following the normal etiquettes and greeting the majesties, royal highnesses, excellences, members of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, and the other distinguished guests. He recites a mantra from the text of wisdom, which is Vedas. That mantra carried a prayer, an aspiration. The word aspiration means an ardent wish or desire, and a resolve that has the potential to liberate humanity from all man made crises. He urges the audience from the corners of the world to walk together, to speak together in the pursuit of global progress. He recalls how he feels every time he frees a child from slavery. In their first smile of freedom, he sees the gods smiling. The second passage begins from page number 78, last paragraph. I give the biggest credit, and it ends on page number 79, second last paragraph. Dreams of our children. Let us read. I give the biggest credit of this honor to my movements Kalu Kumar, Dhumdas, and Adarsh Kishore from India, and Iqbal Masih from Pakistan, who made the supreme sacrifice for protecting the freedom and dignity of children. I humbly accept this award on behalf of all such martyrs, my fellow activists across the world, and my countrymen. My journey from the great land of Lord Buddha, Guru Nanak, and Mahatma Gandhi, India to Norway, is a connect between the two centers of global peace and brotherhood, ancient and modern. Friends, the Nobel Committee has generously invited me to present a lecture. Respectfully, I am unable to do that because I am representing here the sound of silence, the cry of innocence, and the face of invisibility. I represent millions of those children who are left behind, and that's why I have kept an empty chair here as a reminder. I have come here only to share the voices and dreams of our children because they are all our children. Gesture to everyone in the audience. I have looked into their frightened and exhausted eyes. I have held their injured bodies and felt their broken spirits. 20 years ago, in the foothills of the Himalayas, I met a small, skinny child laborer. He asked me, "Is the world so poor that it cannot give me a toy and a book instead of forcing me to take a gun or a tool?" I met with a Sudanese child soldier. He was kidnapped by an extremist militia. As his first training lesson, he was forced to kill his friends and family. He asked me, "What is my fault?" Friends, all the great religions teach us to care for our children. Jesus said, "Let the children come to me. Do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to them." The Holy Quran says, "Kill not your children because of poverty." Friends, there is no greater violence than to deny the dreams of our children. Therefore, I refuse to accept that all the temples and mosques and churches and prayer houses have no place for the dreams of our children. In this passage, Kailash Satyarthi gives the biggest credit of his honor to his fellow friends Kalu Kumar, Dhumdas, and Adarsh Kishore, and Iqbal Masih from Pakistan, who made the supreme sacrifice for protecting the freedom and dignity of children. He says that though he is asked to present a lecture, he refuses to give a lecture because he was representing the sound of silence, by which he means to give voice to unheard, deprived group of the society. He represented the cry of innocence which comes out of the captivated children. He had become the face of invisibility. All these three phrases are example of paradox, and they stand for unnoticed suffering of the poor. By keeping an empty chair, Kailash Satyarthi is also trying to involve all the children, all the deprived children of the world in that ceremony because of whom he was there. He wants to share the voices and dreams of the children. He shared different experiences where he encountered children from miserable situations, children who were deprived, children who were forced to work under unhealthy circumstances. He talks about an experience that he had 20 years ago in the foothills of Himalayas, where he met a small, skinny child laborer who wanted to play, who wanted to have books, but still he was forced to have a gun in his hand. Kailash Satyarthi met a Sudanese child soldier. That child was kidnapped and was forced to kill his friends and family as a lesson of his training. And then he is asking, "What is my fault?" After looking at all this situation, Kailash Satyarthi quotes important quotes from the Bible, saying, "Let the children come to me, do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to them." These words are the words of Jesus, where he wants children to come closer to him. Also, the Holy Quran says, "Kill not your children because of poverty." And so, Kailash Satyarthi also wants every human being to be more sensitive towards children and their childhood. The next passage starts from page number 79, last two lines. and ends on page number 80, third last paragraph. Let us read. I refuse to accept that the world is so poor when just 1 week of global military expenditure can bring all the children to classrooms. I refuse to accept that all the laws and constitutions, police and judges are unable to protect our children. I refuse to accept that the shackles of slavery can ever be stronger than the quest for freedom. I refuse to accept here. My only aim in life is that every child is free to be a child, free to grow and develop, free to eat, sleep, and see daylight, free to laugh and cry, free to play and learn, free to go to school, and above all, free to dream. I have the privilege of working with many courageous people who have the same aim. We have never given up against any threat or attack, and we never will. We have made progress in the last couple of decades. We have reduced the number of out of school children by half. We have reduced the number of child laborers by a third. We have reduced child mortality and malnutrition, and we have prevented millions of child deaths. But let us make no mistake, great challenges still remain. Friends, the biggest challenge or biggest crisis knocking in the doors of humankind is fear and intolerance. In this passage, Kailash Satyarthi says that he refuses to accept, or he cannot believe, that all the laws and constitutions, police and judges are unable to protect our children. Can they do nothing for our children? He also says that the shackles of slavery, the shackles which mean the chains that bind, can never be strong than the quest for freedom. And then he's saying that the only aim in his life is that every child is free to be a child, free to grow and develop, free to eat, sleep, and see daylight, free to laugh and cry, free to play and learn, free to go to school, and above all, free to dream. All this is what makes a child in a true sense. Ahead, he is talking about the progress that he has made along with his companions in the last couple of decades. They have reduced the number of out of school children by half. They have reduced the number of child laborers by a third. They have reduced child mortality and malnutrition, and they have also prevented millions of child deaths. But this is not enough, what he believes, and they don't want to stop there, because Kailash Satyarthi believes that the biggest challenge or biggest crisis knocking on the doors of humanity is fear and intolerance. Next passage is on page number 80, second last paragraph, and it ends on page number 81, end of part 1. Let me read. We have utterly failed our children in imparting an education that gives the meaning and objective of life, an education that gives a sense of global citizenship among the youth. I am afraid that the day is not very far away when the cumulative result of this failure will culminate in an unprecedented violence, and that will be suicidal for humankind. Rights, security, hope can only be restored through education. Young people like Malala, I've started calling her my daughter Malala, not just Malala. So, my daughter Malala and other daughters, including Kayanat, in fact, two Kayanats, and Shazia, and the daughters from Africa and from all over the world, they are rising up and choosing peace over violence, tolerance over extremism, and courage over fear. The solutions are emerging, but these solutions cannot be found in the deliberations in conferences alone, and cannot be found in prescriptions from a distance. They lie in small groups and local organizations and individuals who are confronting with the problem every day. Even if they remain unacknowledged, unrecognized, and unknown to the world, the solutions are with them. In this passage, Kailash Satyarthi talks about the human failure in imparting education in its true sense. Because education creates a sense of global citizenship among the youth, and if it is not imparted effectively, it will lead to unprecedented violence, which will be dangerous for humankind. He says that rights, security, and hope can only be restored through education. He proudly mentions and appreciates Malala and other young reformers from across the world who, in their very young age, are rising up and choosing peace over violence, tolerance over extremism, and courage over fear. The solutions are emerging, he's saying, but he believes and he feels that the solutions cannot be found in such conferences. For that, we have to rely on the small groups and local organizations who are unacknowledged, unrecognized, and unknown. And still, they are the ones who are confronting with the problem every day. So we should focus more on them. Students, in this video, we have gained a lot of information about Kailash Satyarthi and his works. We learned about child labor, its causes and effects, and the challenges that are faced by the social reformers. The next part of the lesson will be done in the next module. Now, let us move on to the evaluation part. First question: complete the following diagram. The aim in the life of Kailash Satyarthi is that every child should be free. There are more than 4 points in the text. However, you need to write only 4. Second question: write the names of the persons to whom Kailash Satyarthi gives the highest credit of his honor. Question number 3: education can help the deprived children and the child laborers. Do you agree the statement? Justify your answer. Fourth question: give the synonyms of the following from the passage. A. Rise to peak. B. Death. C. Self-respect. And D. Extreme ideas or actions. Grammar. The following words can be used as nouns as well as verbs. Make 2 sentences of your own using them as noun in one and as verb in another. The words are A. Attack. B. March. Question number 2. Write minimum 4 hidden words from the word unacknowledged. Question number 3. Say whether the following sentences are assertive, imperative, interrogative, or exclamatory. The first sentence is I see the gods smiling, and the second sentence is what is my fault. Question number 4. Do as directed. We have reduced child mortality and malnutrition. Identify the tense in the given sentence. B. I refuse to accept that the world is so poor. Underline the infinitive in the given sentence. Thank you.